At 40, you've got your shit together. You figured it all out. You're a grown-up. And you're also basically ancient.
What?
At least that's what I used to think. But people no longer necessarily look old at 40. At the same time, Gen Zs seem to look older than they are. So are millennials just delusional? Or do they actually age slower? And if so, why? Like, I'm about to turn 40.
At first, I was like, ah!
But I don't look like what I thought I would at that age. Or like my parents did, just like celebrities. I'm older than Ed O'Neill was when Married with Children started. Roseanne was 36.
36 and a half.
Just like John Ashton in Beverly Hills Cop. And by the way, while Eddie Murphy looked like a 30-something, he was actually 22 years old. Danny Glover played a 50-year-old in Lethal Weapon, but in real life, he was 10 years younger. He was my age.
I'm too old for this shit.
Sean Connery was 32 in this picture, and the lady besides him was 21. Laura Dern was 23 in Jurassic Park, and 20 years younger than her co-star Sam Neill. And Celine Dion was only 20 years old when she won the Eurovision Song Contest. In this outfit. And by the way, no, this gentleman from Home Alone was not 38. But I googled him, and at the time the movie came out, he was only 66 years old. But in today's eyes, all of them looked older than they were. Because today, we do kinda look younger. The reasons for this phenomenon are kind of simple. In general, today we smoke less, or at least we're exposed to much less secondhand smoke. We no longer fry ourselves in tanning beds. We use sunscreen much more often, and we drink less alcohol.
Because alcohol dries your face out and makes you look older.
Style also plays a role. In the past, if you wanted to look grown up, you dressed like an adult. And adults typically wore suits or at least blazers and those leather shoes with those little pom-pom thingies. That's why DJ Tanner looked like Stephanie's and Michelle's mom. Today, we run around in sneakers and t-shirts, whether we're in school, college, or at work. Our style doesn't change drastically just because we get older. And sometimes we even copy the style of younger people, or at least we try to.
Don't do it. Don't do it. Don't do it. Do not do it. Don't 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 do it.
We also have more options when it comes to skincare and anti-aging. And yes, some use far more than just creams. But that's exactly the problem for Gen Zs. This doesn't apply to everyone, of course. But while some millennials do look younger than previous generations at that age, some Gen Zs appear not old, but older than they are. Like Billie Eilish is 23 and 13 years younger than 36-year-old Emma Stone. Sabrina Carpenter is 25 years old, but doesn't look much younger than 42-year-old Anne Hathaway. Kylie Jenner is almost something like a poster child when it comes to this, which is kind of mean. But at 27, she looks pretty similar to her 44-year-old sister Kim Kardashian. And of course, both have had work done, just like many other celebrities. Makeup is also a big reason. I mean, look again at Sabrina Carpenter without makeup. She absolutely looks her age, but with makeup comes the mature look. For example, it's hard to believe that Bella Thorne is only 27 years old on this picture, but like many, she also tends to go for the same sophisticated look of people who are at least 10 years her senior. At the same time, some dive headfirst into skincare when they're barely teenagers. Sure, that's not a bad thing in itself, and I wish I started earlier, especially with sunscreen. Now I try my best to at least slow the signs of time on my face.
How do you feel, though, about getting older?
I think it sucks.
You're not gonna. What about all the wisdom?
But too much, too often, and especially too early can do more harm than good. A baby face doesn't need anti-aging products or even Botox and fillers. Granted, no face needs this stuff, but I get why people want to do it, because I tried it as well, although it sadly didn't really work on me. Still, I think it's better when time has already left a bit of a mark, because ironically, those who fight aging from a young age risk to look older sooner. And by the way, this phenomenon is not just one that affects women, as TikToker Jordan the Stallion proves.
I'm Gen Z. Zendaya is older than me. There was one time I wanted an autograph from Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson, right? I was standing for hours for this autograph, and when he walked up to me, I said, "Can you please sign this poster? It's for Jordan," right? He then took it and put "Dear Jordan, your dad is a great guy." Before I can correct him, he looked at me and said, "Times were way more difficult back when we were kids, am I right?" And then he tapped my shoulder and left. Dwayne is 52. I am 26.
And he looks fine, don't get me wrong, but not like a 20-something.
It is mainly because of the stress.
Stress impacts pretty much all age groups, but compared to those who grew up in the 90s and early 2000s, Gen Zs get confronted with a lot more. They see on a daily basis that the world isn't okay. They see war, climate change, inflation, and just an overall hopelessness at a very young age. And growing up, their world was much larger than ours. When we grew up, we only saw our immediate surroundings and maybe some teen magazines. We only saw the world once a day on the news, and mostly we didn't even watch them. In this digital age, there's also even more pressure to look good and mature. Thanks to smartphones and social media, we see our faces and those of millions of others 24/7, and it's not doing anyone any favors. But the thing is, the younger you are, the worse it is.
Once kids get a phone, it moves to the center of their life, and it will be there for the rest of their lives. Mm-hmm. Imagine a normal, healthy childhood. Now take out most of the time with friends. Take out about a half hour of sleep every night, so you're sleeping less. Add in chronic self-comparison, which is devastating for girls, especially during puberty, when their bodies are changing, they're insecure. Add in a lot more bullying. I could keep going. Oh, there's attention fragmentation. There's addiction for a lot of kids.
Even at almost 40, this applies to me too. For example, when I film and especially when I edit a YouTube video, I look at my face for quite some time. And at some point, I unintentionally start to focus on something. The longer I do, the worse I think it is.
I have my insecurities. I wear really big earrings because I don't like my ears. And there are other things that I won't mention because then y'all will look at it.
With today's technology, you no longer just have to wonder if someone's had surgery, used Photoshop, or has slapped a filter over a picture or video, but whether it's even real or created by AI. But there are some positive aspects about all of this. Age really is just a number, and it's no longer the straitjacket it once was.
I'm too young to be old, and I'm too old to be young.
How is it even possible that we both look so darn good at 50 years old?
Crazy.
Happy birthday.
Happy birthday.
Both of us.
We have the freedom to look however we want, and 40 isn't some dreaded milestone anymore. There are benefits to getting older.
35 is not 25.
Thank God.
I mean, sure, I'd like to look 25, but I actually don't want to be 25 again. Although you might want to ask me again in 10 years. Getting older means first and foremost that you are alive and not already dead, which is why I actually love this filter, because with it, I kind of look like my mom would have if she had ever gotten this old. Also, with age comes a certain confidence and wisdom to just not give a shit.
Like having ice cream on the chocolate cake.
I like to make myself look nice, but now I decide what effort I put in it, not the pressure or insecurity, at least not as much. And that's pretty liberating, because we have the freedom to not only look the way we want,
I am 50-fucking-2 and I will rock this dress.
but also do whatever we want. Age isn't a limitation. For example, Douglas Lunston wrote in his viral post, I was 43 when I got a PhD. I was 51 when I started my dream job. I was 54 when I married the love of my life. I was 55 when I ran my first marathon. I was 67 when I self-published my first book. I turn 70 next year, and I can't wait. Or whoever thought of this motivational masterpiece? Count Dracula was 412 when he moved to England in search of new blood. Sauron was 54,000 years old when he forged the One Ring. Cthulhu had seen galaxies flare into life and fade to darkness before he put madness in the minds of men. It's never too late to follow your dreams. That's why I don't think it's a big deal to turn 40. Sure, maybe some 20-something thinks I'm completely delusional and I do look old. But what do those young people even know? I mean, they probably also think I've got my shit together, I figured it all out, and I'm a grown-up.
I'm fine.
Really?
Absolutely. I'm fine. Totally fine. I don't know why it's coming out all loud and squeaky, because really, I'm fine.
I'm 35. 35.
Oh, shut the fuck up. I'm 140.